If you click this video hoping for a lottery stock is gonna turn your $10 into 10,000, you might as well not waste time and click off now. This video is only for people who want consistency. I'm gonna walk you through how I'm approaching swing trading into February and what is currently on my watch list. So let's get this video to 100 likes and let's get straight to it. For the first setup on this list is ticker symbol ASST. Now for this setup, it recently had a reverse split, and honestly to me, that is one of the most bullish things about this setup. And I know that kind of sounds backwards to a lot of people. Most people hear reverse split and start panicking and running away. But usually when everyone's leaning bearish, for me, I see a lot of opportunity in that. So before the split, this thing had around 1.2 billion shares floating around. And that's way too much supply for price to really have this stock to move. But post split, you're looking at roughly 60 million shares. With supply that tight, price does not need huge volume to move. And then when it starts moving, it can move fast. And that's when you'll start seeing everyone on Twitter saying, oh, I knew it was going to run, and all that fun stuff. So, and another thing I like about this stock is the insider buying. When a CEO is buying a lot of shares after a reverse split, I'm not going to trust all these random accounts that's saying, oh, it's going to go to zero. I rather trust someone that's actually aligned with the business, has real stake in the business. And that, that's just me. Now, from a chart perspective, the big area I only care about on the downside is that 80 to 90 cent zone. I'll mark it down here. Price has been down there multiple times now, and every dip into that area keeps getting bought. So as long as we're holding above that range, the setup is fine in my opinion. On the upside, the first real area is around $1.60 to about $2. That's been consistent supply for a while. So price needs to do more, than just touch the level. I want to see it actually break above that zone, and instead of getting pushed, right back down. So if it can do that, then things start opening up towards that 3 to 380 gap, which is where momentum should pick up. But whatever this does in the short term doesn't, really bother me, because I already know my risk, and that's the most important part. I'm not married to the position. If it works, I'll let it work. If it doesn't, then, oh well, I'll move on to the next setup. For the next on this list, I'm going to be talking about ticker symbol OPEN. So let's talk about this one, because if you've been in the Discord for a while, you already know this isn't new for us. We already caught the first big move on this name. That initial push, I believe, gave us 100 to 110% profit. Pretty much that move told me everything I needed to know about this stock. After that run, instead of completely falling apart, price did exactly what I wanted to see. It pulled back, it started compressing, and that's the difference between something that's just, a random spike and something that's actually setting up for another leg. And as you can see, price is respecting this descending trend line while also holding higher lows. By the way, I made a video about higher highs, higher lows. It's the previous video, so if you're interested, click on that. From a technical standpoint, you got this tightening wedge forming. Either it breaks down or it continues higher. And given the context on the last run, I'm personally leaning towards, continuation. All right, so now let's talk about levels. On the downside, the main area I care about is roughly that $5.80 to $6. That's been acting as support, and it does line up with the lower trend line that price keeps bouncing off. So as long as we're holding above that zone, we're chilling to me. On the upside, the first level that really matters is around $6.80 to $7. That's where price has been getting stuck. And personally, I don't care about a quick wick into that level. I want to see a full breakout. So if we can hold above that area instead of getting pushed down, I think momentum can, start picking up pretty fast. And above that, if we get the volume, if we get the momentum, I think we can start moving towards $8.50 to that $9 area. And that's the real target where price can run into supply. And if we start pushing through there, we can then see $10 plus. This is why I like these type of setups. I'm watching price compress and waiting for the market to pretty much show its hands. So I'm not buying after everyone on Twitter is already talking about it, because, well, we already played this and got the 100%. So, Now for risk, as I keep saying over and over again, nothing about this is guaranteed. It never is. That's why I always size accordingly, and I'm always prepared to be wrong. I'm not going to be like all those people on Twitter that says, it looks like they're always right. Trust me, no, I lose trades all the time. So yes, so that's ticker symbol OPEN. Next on the list is ticker symbol ITP. This name has already showed it can move in the past. You can obviously see those sharp spikes early on the chart. I'll hover my mouse, over it right here. That tells me two things right away. There's history of volatility, And when this thing starts getting attention, momentum makes us run really, really hard.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
After months of price doing pretty much nothing, you know, most people write it off, you know, take it off their watch list. But of course, we do not do that over here. What really matters to me is what's happened more recently. Price has been building a clear base around this 22 to 23 cent area. You can see multiple candles coming down into that zone, and obviously is not breaking lower, at least at the moment, which then tells me supply has at the most part been absorbed. Right here, we got a tightening range forming, basically, you know, a wedge, lower highs coming down and then higher lows coming back. So for me, the downside is pretty clear. As long as this holds roughly 20 to 21 cents, the setup is fine. But on the upside, the first thing I care about is a clean break above 25 cents. That's where this range starts to break. And if it can get through that and actually, you know, stay there, then that opens the door to possibly 30 to 35 cents. And this is why swing trading works so well. If you have a job or responsibilities during the day, you don't need to babysit these type of trades. You can literally just, you know, mark your levels and go on about your day. So either it breaks out and you're in, or it breaks down and you just not care and just move on to the next setup. If you want to see all the swing trades I do not post anywhere on YouTube or Twitter, my entries and exits, all of that is in the link below. If this breakdown made sense, drop a comment below and tell me what you're currently watching and what you want me to break down in the future. Let's get this video to 100 likes, and I'll see you in the next one.